So good to see you. Welcome to KREM 2 News at Noon. I'm Laura Papetti, and we begin with this. The Ephrata Sports Complex is burned down in an overnight fire. It happened on Tuesday night. Firefighters said the building was engulfed in flames by the time they arrived on scene. The building was isolated, so the fire did not spread to the surrounding areas. Firefighters said the fire started at the Honey Bucket, actually next door, then spread to the complex. Firefighters are still investigating. Also, Vista customers could see more days without power this wildfire season. With a forecasted hot and dry summer, Vista will be shutting down power on high-risk fire days. So here's why. This is in response to the devastating Spokane County wildfires last summer that burned 21,000 acres and destroyed 366 homes. Officials say they will only do that as a last resort, and people will receive a warning ahead of the shutoffs. A lawsuit filed earlier this year claims that faulty inland power and light equipment is to blame for causing the Gray Fire.
We all pay for the price of not doing our part to help mitigate and manage wildland fires. Tough decisions are never easy.
Vista also encouraging customers to have an outage preparation kit ready. It should include things like water, flashlights, batteries, and shelf-stable food as well. Meantime, in North Idaho, Vista has started a $56 million multi-year project for the Post Falls Dam. Our news partners at the Quarterlane Press finding out the work will include rehabilitating the dam's concrete structure, replacing its steel spillway gates, and upgrading the electrical and control systems. The project will block access to some areas of Falls Park to keep workers and the community safe. It is expected to be completed in 2027. All right, we're at 2 minutes past noon right now, and we're going to head outside. That is where we find Thomas Patrick on this Wednesday afternoon. Hi, Thomas.
Yeah, good afternoon, Laura. What a beautiful day we have ongoing here in Spokane, but it's not perfect everywhere. This morning, I was tracking this band of rainfall that was over the Silver Valley. Now, I did think it should have departed by now, but it's just been persistent, especially between Lookout Pass and 4th of July Pass. So a bit rainy over the Silver Valley. So not sure how much longer this is going to last. But I can tell you what, even that cloud cover that looks like it's streaming overhead, well, as we look from our outdoor weather center, you can tell that it is actually quite sunny on the back of my head here. And I would say it's only partly cloudy with more mid-level cloud cover in this portion of the inland northwest. So I think this rain, it shouldn't last for much longer, but it is obviously outperforming even what our computer models had suggested and simulated into the day today. It has kept things decently colder over this region. 44 in Wallace compared to 52 in Spokane, and already well into the 60s in central Washington, where that sunshine has been just perfect and true for today. But boy, does it get warm for this weekend. We'll show you that weather pattern and how it moves in, how long it's going to stay with us with our first 80-degree days of the year.
The Spokane Public School Board is meeting tonight to talk about next steps on a bond that failed earlier this year. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is looking at when the bond could be reintroduced to voters.
Well, right now it's still up in the air on when they'll be able to get that bond reintroduced. But what we do know is that school board members have had several conversations and even workshops on trying to figure out when they can get it back on the ballots. But also, if you remember back to February, the measure failed and fell short of that needed 60% voter approval in February, and we're talking about that $200 million measure. Since then, the district has conducted a survey that showed many of the no votes pointed fingers at inflation and a potential impact on property values. Without the bond, the district has had to hold off on replacing Madison and Adams Elementary School, two of the oldest schools right here in Spokane. Several other renovations were also associated with the bond that had been postponed. We got a chance to speak with SBS Superintendent Dr. Adam Swinyard about a potential timeline for the measure.
As we've shared before, one of the main pieces of feedback was just the economic environment and the challenges economically and from a tax perspective that our community is facing. So I know that is foremost on the school board's mind as they're thinking about next steps, while at the same time balancing the needs of the school district.
So school officials say they are looking at a number of factors before reintroducing the bond. That includes assessing what other municipalities like the city of Spokane will have on upcoming ballots. Board members will continue those discussions at tonight's meeting. That's 6 p.m. And if any new information or details come from that, we'll be sure to keep you posted. But for now, reporting here in downtown Spokane, Brandon T. Jones from 2 News.
Covering North Idaho now, Quarterlane Tribe Natural Resources released salmon into a creek yesterday. More than 200 students from local schools gathering for the event, again, Latah Creek area. This comes after the Quarterlane Tribe announced a deal to address salmon recovery. The tribe will receive a little more than $10 million from the federal government every year for habitat improvement projects. They'll use the money on projects that protect fish and help sustain traditional fishing and hunting activities. Also, fans can score $25 concert tickets to more than 70 shows in Washington. Concert Week kicking off at 7 a.m. today. Some of the big names you can see: Neil Young and Crazy Horse, Third Eye Blind, and Cage the Elephant. Concert Week, by the way, running through May 14th. And for a full list of artists coming to Spokane, just head to our website at KREM.com.